I have my window open, so if you hear any weird sounds in the background, that's why. In the comment section on my video from last week about that encounter that I had on Tumblr, there's arisen sort of a comment thing that I wanted to address personally. There's a few things I wanted to touch on. One is that I think some of the problem with both the encounter I had on Tumblr, at least at the beginning, and what's happening in the comment section is a problem of phrasing, kind of phrased in a way that makes me defensive. It's almost an attack, like, oh, I'm wrong to have vented my frustrations on a personal, collab channel with a friend of mine. I actually want to touch on the first point that the person made in their comment, which was that asexual people should listen to allosexual people about their experiences, because you can't know if you don't experience something if you don't know what experiencing is like. Asexual people do listen to allosexual perspectives all the time. That's literally all that's represented in the media. I recently listened to a podcast that talked about occurrences of asexuality in the media, and there were 3. We're listening. All we can do is listen. That's all that we've got to go on. And I know personally, not matching up with what I was seeing portrayed everywhere and seeing from everyone around me is what made me realize that asexuality was a term that applied to me and that I thought was helpful for my experience of the world. It's not that I'm not listening to the perspective of this person. It's that this person was being inappropriate and rude. Frankly, a stranger on the internet does not have any right to knowledge about my sex life or lack thereof. It's one thing to put it out on the blog that I'm asexual. And if someone were to come to me and say, hey, I saw this on your blog and I'm not really sure what that means, can you explain it to me? I would be more than happy to answer that question as well as I possibly could and send links to things, any number of things. I'd be totally fine with that. If someone put on their blog that they were straight, you wouldn't go up to them not knowing them at all and start querying them about their sexual encounters and the circumstances thereof. That's just not an appropriate question. So it's not appropriate to ask me, an asexual person, about the same thing or lack thereof either. My other point has to do with what Lou talked about yesterday, people's experiences not being universal, and how you can't really assume things about situations that you weren't part of. In one of the comments on the video, it is straight out said that this person was not mocking me. When I said that I was being mocked, I was not referring to the entire conversation with this person on Tumblr. I was referring to one particular comment, which was definitely mocking. I did not read that comment in the video. So to say that I was not being mocked when you don't know what was said is speaking for me and trying to suggest that you understand my experience better than I do, and that is not okay. That is not okay in a lot of ways, because that gets into a lot of sticky stuff. There was also something said about how it isn't possible to fully understand asexuality in 5 minutes or something to that effect, but I feel like there's a difference between understanding the concept and knowing all of the ins and outs of it. It took me literal months to wrap my head around the concept of asexuality and how it applies to me, but it did not take me months to figure out the basic concept. It did not take me months to figure out, okay, asexuality, no sexual attraction, but you can be romantically attracted to people. I understood the ins and outs of different kinds of attraction after I read one infographic. It's not rocket science. It's not a complicated concept to wrap your head around. So while you may not be able to totally understand all the nuances of it in 5 minutes, you can't understand all the nuances of anything in 5 minutes. But you can get a basic grasp on the subject. Anyway, I really appreciated your video, Lou. It was great. I very much appreciate that your willingness to jump to my defense as well. You're wonderful. I like that we're actually having some conversation about asexuality on the channel. That's really cool. Yeah, I hope we can do that more. But, yeah. I think that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I look forward to your video.